brief beauties, spring wildflowers in the Great Lakes region. In early spring, the forest floor becomes dappled with delicate wildflowers. These early bloomers take advantage of the sunlight that shines through the bare tree branches. Keep an eye out for these amazing spring wildflowers on the forest floor. Spring beauty has delicate white flowers with streaks of pink or purple. Both the flower and fragrance of its blooms offer guidance to early pollinators such as bumblebees and flies looking for nourishment after a long winter's rest. Like the lines of a runway, the stripes act as bee guides to direct pollinators to its sweet nectar. The flower stalks of Dutchman's Breeches look like clotheslines with pantaloon-shaped flowers hanging to dry. The upside-down blossom protects its pollen from wind and rain. Bumblebees' long tongues are well adapted to reach the nectar deep inside the flower. Other insects can't reach the nectar, but have learned to cheat, chewing holes in the flower to access it. Virginia bluebells start the growing season as deep purple leaves sprouting from the ground. As the plant matures, the leaves turn green and the buds develop into a cluster of bell-shaped flowers. These are perfectly shaped for the long tube-like tongues of butterflies, its primary pollinator. Violets are not always a welcome sight in the lawn, but most are native wildflowers. Blooming from spring through summer, their nectar is a steady source of nutrients for bees. Once the blooms fade, the seeds mature, with each seed encased by a layer that ants can eat. The ants carry the seed into their nest, ingesting only the outer layer. The rest of the seed is ignored and is ready to sprout next year. Many people are familiar with the spotted leaves of the yellow trout lily, but seeing a flower is a special experience. Each plant can take up to 8 years to bloom, meaning they must survive on the forest floor for years before they can reproduce. The mottled pattern in the leaves helps to break up their silhouettes, making it harder for deer to find them. Mayapples emerge from the forest floor like miniature tropical umbrellas. A single-leaved plant will not produce a flower this year, while those having 2 leaves will produce a single white flower at the fork in the stem. Colonies of Mayapples can take over large areas of the forest floor in late spring and early summer. Within a month or two, these early spring wildflowers are able to receive enough sunlight to fuel their reproduction for this year and store enough energy for next year's growth. Once the trees overhead leaf out, most of these wildflowers will disappear, depending on stored energy to get them started again next spring. As you explore the forest floor, remember to take only pictures, leaving the wildflowers to feed early pollinators and ensure wildflowers for years to come.